Hi there, artisans! Welcome back to this channel. This is 𝐕𝐈𝐄𝐒 𝙍𝙍.
On point. Now is my time to shine.
So as you can see, I already have a sketched ready painting, and there is a bird here that I wanted to paint as well. So now I took this picture. So this is the original picture, right? And I just want to gather like the informations, because I want these kind of paintings actually, and I want the bird to actually stand as it is. And since in this picture it was almost in the middle, I have to create the painting on the side. Okay, the bird should be on this side. Why not in the middle? It's because whenever you're gonna compose a composition, you should think about what do you want to convey the viewer or the person who's gonna look onto the painting. So I wanted to create the painting in this way, right? So now I used the ordinary pencil, just the ordinary one, not the pencil I usually use for sketching in watercolor. Okay, this is my watercolor pencil, so we just use the ordinary one. And for this project, we're gonna use the Aqua Drop, and the Aqua Drop is actually an easy to use watercolor, and they have a very light pigments, very strong in its pigment. And the good thing about this is it's ready to be used. You don't need to mix into your palette, or you could actually just mix a little bit of water and it's ready to go. If you'd like to make the color a little bit thinner, you could mix a little bit of water, and then if you want the color as it is, then just probably use it directly like so. So I'm gonna show you the actual pigment of the color, so you will have a quick idea what this is like. So it looks like that. Okay, it's very wet, and I've noticed that if you wait too long, it will stick actually into the paper. Okay, depending on what kind of paper you have, it will stick in there. So now I'm using the dry paper, and we're gonna use a little bit of water just to sort out the color. So as you can see, I dropped the color right there and then added water, so the shades are actually perfect and wonderful. Right, now what if we're gonna mix just with water over here? This is just a simple water. So I want you to see how it looks like whenever we're gonna drop some colors. Okay, you see, it's a beautiful color. You see that effect? And then we're gonna drop some dark, because I want to show you the effect of this. Okay, just probably a little, and it scatters, actually it scatters through the paper where there's water. Okay, so that's mainly the red over there on the top. Okay, this is the red one, and this is the mixed with black. So now you can see how it looks like. Right, so we'll just begin with the painting. So as you can see, I have already started to sketch my Magpie, but the thing is, I am trying to establish a little bit more clearer sketch, and the picture that you could see on my mobile phone is something that I took outside while taking a walk. So just to give you quick information how I get inspired in painting is that I usually go out and take a walk a day, probably like 5 or 10 minutes. That's enough to just take a walk and take pictures of whatever I find is beneficial or whatever I find is really amazing and cool, or probably I want to try to draw. And as for this thing, I have always desired to paint magpies, and I am so in love with all kinds of birds, especially the corvids. So black-billed magpies are corvids in the same family as crows, ravens, and jays. Like other corvids, they're highly intelligent birds, so they also have a complex social hierarchy. And there is a research in Cornell Lab of Ornithology reports that in groups, males establish dominance through a stretched display, raising the bill in the air and flashing their white eyelids. There are many myths about this kind of bird, that they are arrogant, they could stab you in the eye, or that they could harm or they steal shiny things. But none of this is actually true. One thing that I could say about the shiny things is that we also have to think that all sorts of corvids birds are intelligent and are very adventurous themselves. They want to explore things, they want to try out things, and they want to know how things work. And that's how our ecosystem actually works. And it's just like us in a new environment, we try to fit in, or we try to learn the system so that we could learn how to survive. And that's the same thing with the corvids. Now, I want to share you about this painting. So it's about high time that at these kinds of months in May, all the birds are flying outside and they perch more on trees, and you could see different sorts of birds, you know. You can find them everywhere. Just have patience in the camera and you will get all sorts of ideas to paint. Now the thing that you have seen, the bottles that you have seen that I'm using in this painting is called Aqua Drop, and they come in 5 bottles, and they are just 5 basic colors which contains deep black, blue, yellow, white, and red. So I recommend that if you want to learn to paint watercolor, or you just want to have some kind of hobby, try to buy just the basic colors of the watercolor Aqua Drop from 𝐕𝐈𝐄𝐻𝐒. One good thing about this Aqua Drop is it's light fast, and it's a good and very high quality color pigment. And when you use it, it's water soluble, and it has a easy to use upon painting and urban sketching and calligraphy. So you can also use this in hand lettering and airbrush. So I could say that as I have tested this today and tried the watercolor, I find it much more easier because I could travel along with it, and I can even paint with a pipe with it. So on the finishing of this painting, I used this glazed watercolor so that the bird would shine a little bit. So I colored the the front of the bird, the chest, and even the head with a little bit of that blue and green color. Now going back to the Aqua Drop, I want you to try this color. You just have to bring your brush and a paper with you, plus these colors, and you will find yourself amazed in these colors. Probably a palette as well, an empty palette, or you can use even a plate just to mix all the colors. If you want them thinner, you can dilute them with much water for an easier use or for a background. So I've been building this picture with different sorts of twigs and painting here and there, trying out myself. You know, it's kind of relaxing sometimes just to sit down and paint this way. I hope that you have learned something new from this, and however you do, please enjoy the video and share it, and also put your comments down below. If you are interested to buy this Aqua Drop watercolor ink, please go to the description box below, and I'm sharing you the link from Amazon. Thank you so much. See you again on the next art.
Doubters overnight, and after them you shine bright, cause inside your head, on goes the light. Ignite, plan for intuition upon the stars in the night that glisten. To you they listen, to be you stand that I'm wishing. Listen, do your own math and learn from the stuff that you are missing. Create your own path with your own vision.